It begins on an ordinary morning. People wake up, stretch, grab their phones, and step into their daily routines, unaware that this day is about to rewrite human history. In cities around the world, from New York to Karachi, from London to Tokyo, something feels strange. The streets are unusually quiet. At first, people think it's a temporary power outage or a holiday. But within minutes, confusion spreads like wildfire. Phones start buzzing. Is your bus not coming? The trains are not running. Why is the airport shutting down? News alerts light up screens simultaneously across the globe. Governments release the same urgent statement. Due to a global emergency, all motorized transportation is suspended for 90 days. No cars, no buses, no trains, no ships, no airplanes. The world freezes. At first, people refuse to believe it. Airports, normally packed, now look like abandoned monuments. Highways, once roaring with traffic, turn into long ribbons of silence. A global paralysis begins. Within hours, reality hits like a shockwave. Humanity now has only two ways to move: walking or pedaling. Parents struggle to figure out how to take kids to school. The uncertainty turns into anxiety. Supermarket managers worry about restocking, and hospitals fear supply shortages. On social media, chaos reigns. How will we survive without transport? What about emergency services? The world, which used to move at the speed of engines, suddenly collapses into stillness. As the sun sets, a haunting truth becomes clear. Humanity has taken transportation for granted. The global silence begins. The first 24 hours were filled with shock, but by the end of the first week, the shock begins turning into something far more dangerous: collapse. Day 2 starts with people waking up earlier than usual, because now everyone must walk. Some workers walk 5, 10, or even 20 miles just to reach their jobs. By day 3, employers begin reporting the truth. Only 20% of our staff can reach the workplace. Hospitals, banks, factories, and restaurants all feel the shortage. Supermarkets begin emptying. The first sign of crisis appears in grocery stores. Fresh vegetables run out, and milk, dairy, and bread shelves empty instantly. Normally, a truck restocks supplies every morning. But now, trucks don't exist. People begin hoarding whatever they can find, and lines stretch outside stores as if a war has begun. Small neighborhood shops suddenly become the center of survival because they're the only stores within walking distance. Day 4 exposes the cracks in modern civilization. Schools reduce attendance or close entirely. Medical appointments are canceled because neither patients nor doctors can travel far. Pharmacies struggle to receive medicine shipments, and life-saving drugs are running low. Online shopping, once the heart of modern convenience, is gone, with no deliveries or logistics. Migrants and workers stranded in distant cities have only one choice: walk home. Across continents, highways fill with thousands of people walking with bags on their backs. Satellite images show what looks like mass migration. Social media turns into a global SOS. My father needs insulin. How can we get it? My hospital is 15 kilometers away. I can't walk that far. By day 7, a chilling realization settles. Modern civilization was built on wheels. And without wheels, the world collapses faster than anyone imagined. Day 8 dawns like any other, but the world is no longer the same. People wake up not to the roar of engines, but to a silence that feels almost alien. The streets are now full of people walking everywhere. Office workers carry backpacks heavier than usual, filled with essentials, because their daily commute now requires endurance, not convenience. Delivery workers now drag carts or bicycles as their new lifeline. In the midst of this struggle, something unexpected begins to happen. Humans start noticing their world in ways they haven't for decades. The air feels different. Without cars and trucks pumping exhaust into the sky, the air smells cleaner. Cities, once choked with smog, are now bathed in sunlight. Birds start returning, and children gasp at the sight of blue skies. A glimpse of community. Humans, forced out of their isolated cars, begin seeing each other. Strangers smile, share water bottles, and walk together in small groups. Slowly, the walls of modern isolation begin to crumble. New economy on the streets. Entrepreneurs adapt with astonishing speed. Bicycle repair stands pop up at intersections. Pop-up markets replace empty supermarkets, turning parking lots into hubs of bartering. The local economy becomes visible in a way it never was before. But not all change is peaceful. With resources scarce and the world moving on foot, tensions rise. Theft increases in cities. Arguments break out over the last bottles of water or remaining packs of bread. Hospitals, still struggling to function, are overwhelmed. Ambulances cannot reach patients quickly. People carry loved ones on stretchers across kilometers of pavement. Emergency rooms fill with exhaustion, heat stroke, and injuries from long treks. By the end of the second week, workplaces start to stagger shifts. Schools introduce walking buses, groups of students moving together. Governments start to encourage bicycles and carts, realizing that walking alone is not enough. Humanity begins to understand that the world will never be the same, not because it stopped moving, but because it has learned how fragile its reliance on speed really was. As day 15 dawns, the world has walked a long way, but adaptation comes at a cost. The first signs of scarcity. Food shortages intensify. Supermarkets now resemble war zones, with bare shelves. Fresh produce becomes a rare treasure, traded at exorbitant rates. Water, long taken for granted, becomes a vital commodity. Communities organize queues, while some areas descend into chaos. Transport-free economy collapses. Factories, dependent on materials delivered by trucks and trains, grind to a halt. Electronics, medicines, and construction materials become scarce. Black markets emerge. Cities that once thrived on commerce start to feel hollow. Healthcare under siege. Hospitals are stretched beyond their limits. People carry the sick, injured, and elderly on foot for miles. The first deaths from preventable causes, diabetes complications, heart attacks, infections, begin to appear. Mobility is not just convenience, it is survival. Social tensions rise. Frustration turns to anger. Street fights erupt over scarce resources. Looting becomes more common. Inequality, long hidden by convenience, is now glaring. Those who live within walking distance of essentials survive more easily. A glimmer of cooperation. Amid chaos, human resilience shines. Neighborhood groups form patrols. Local farmers open their gates to share food. Humanity is learning a painful lesson. Survival now depends on solidarity, not speed. By day 22, the world has entered a new reality. Survival has become a daily battle. The initial shock is over, but for billions, life is about endurance, movement, and making impossible choices. Mass migration begins. People are now forced to walk for days, sometimes weeks, to reach their homes or find food. Highways are filled with humanity. Satellite images show what looks like armies of civilians moving slowly across continents. Desperate journeys unfold every day. Heat stroke, exhaustion, and dehydration claim lives daily. Reports of theft, robbery, and exploitation increase. The economy in freefall. Money begins to lose its meaning in areas where basic survival depends on bartering food, water, or even labor. As the fourth week approaches, resources are dwindling, and the true test of humanity's endurance is about to begin. By the fourth week, the crisis has moved far beyond inconvenience and adaptation. It has become a brutal, primal struggle for survival. Survival is no longer just about movement. It is about resources, strategy, and sheer determination. Food becomes gold. Supermarkets are now completely emptied relics. People rely on whatever they can grow, barter, or scavenge. Farming skills, once niche, are now vital. A loaf of bread or a packet of seeds now demands hours of walking or rare items in exchange. Hunger is no longer occasional. It is constant, gnawing at billions. Water is life and a weapon. Water shortages escalate dramatically. In densely populated cities, conflicts over water erupt near reservoirs, wells, or any remaining source of clean water. Violence becomes common as survival instincts override civility and order.
The rise of local leaders. Amid the chaos, new leaders emerge. Not politicians, but citizens who gain influence by organizing supplies, managing queues, and enforcing fairness. These local figures start creating fortified neighborhoods where the vulnerable are protected. The black market takes over. Money is rapidly losing its value, but a thriving black market emerges along major pedestrian routes. Items like batteries, flashlights, medicines, and bicycles are traded at astronomical rates, often for food or water. The world's economy has been replaced by a local, commodity-based survival system. Healthcare in collapse. Chronic illnesses become deadly and mortality rises sharply. People attempt to walk for days to reach functioning medical facilities, often arriving too late. Humanity is reminded that even advanced medicine is useless if the system of mobility is gone. By day 38, necessity and desperation drive people to extreme measures. The fear of starvation outweighs the fear of crime. Scarcity becomes a weapon. Armed gangs emerge along major walking routes. They target lone travelers, demanding tribute, usually food or water, to pass safely. Security is a new commodity. The Great Migration continues. People are now forced to walk for days, sometimes weeks, to reach their homes or find food. Highways fill with slow-moving caravans of humanity, resembling a global exodus. The first food wars. Resource-based conflicts escalate. Neighboring communities clash over fertile farmland, abandoned warehouses, or known water sources. These are the first food wars. The conflict is brutal, personal, and driven purely by the need to feed families. The darkest realization. The world begins to realize that the greatest danger is not exhaustion, but desperation. Amid the chaos, humanity's dual nature becomes visible. Some communities respond with cooperation, sharing resources and rationing fairly. Others descend into complete selfishness and aggression. The world is no longer just quiet, clean, and slow. It is deeply dangerous and deeply divided. As the 6-week mark approaches, the world has reached its tipping point. The initial period of shock and mild adaptation is over, replaced by a ruthless new reality defined by survival, scarcity, and the need to defend what little you have left. By the middle of the 90-day shutdown, the world is now fundamentally split into two realities: the chaotic reality of resource wars and the organized reality of communal survival. The urban exodus and new dangers. The large, sprawling cities have become traps. Without the ability to transport food and water, they are unsustainable. People continue to walk out, seeking smaller, more defensible rural communities. The journey itself is treacherous. Armed gangs solidify their control over key choke points, abandon bridges and mountain passes, demanding tribute from the walking population. Epidemics and inaccessible aid. With sanitary conditions deteriorating and medical supplies dwindling, epidemics began to spread through crowded settlements and migration routes. People die from diseases that just a few weeks ago were easily curable. Healthcare systems dependent on logistics and fast transport are virtually non-existent. Adaptation takes hold. Amid the struggle, ingenuity flourishes. Across the globe, people build massive bicycle networks, sometimes linking dozens of towns. Local waterways and canals see a sudden resurgence of small, human-powered boats, becoming the only reliable way to transport bulk goods. Communities begin to share knowledge, how to purify water, how to build efficient composters, and how to farm in small urban plots. The economic reset. Money, particularly national currency, is mostly meaningless now. The new unit of trade is skill and resource. A plumber, a doctor, a farmer, or a bicycle mechanic is suddenly the most valuable person in the community. Bartering systems based on hours of labor or specific goods, salt, fuel, medicine, become the formal structure of the economy. As the end of the shutdown draws near, humanity is exhausted but resilient. Survivalist cities dominate. The communities that have survived are the ones that are most organized. They fortify their borders, implement strict rationing, and enforce communal fairness. These survivalist cities, or fortified villages, become the centers of what is left of civilization. Shifting conflicts. Large, sprawling conflicts diminish. The fighting is less about outright war and more about constant, localized skirmishes over immediate resources. But cooperation becomes necessary for survival. No single community can sustain itself alone for long. A new normal settles. The memory of easy, instantaneous travel begins to fade, replaced by the reality of a world that moves at walking speed. The children born during this period will not know a world where a car trip across town takes 10 minutes. The Earth, free from constant engine noise, is quieter than it has been in centuries. By day 75, the world is poised on the brink of a new era. It has survived the collapse, but the question remains, when the engines finally roar back to life, what will remain of this transformed world? As the calendar turns to the final 15 days, a world has reached a state of grim, stable existence. The New World Order. By day 76, survivalist cities dominate. Travel between them is carefully planned, mostly on foot, bicycles or boats. Governments and community leaders, those who survived, coordinate the distribution of food, water, and medicine. Large-scale conflicts reduce as communities realize that cooperation is more essential for survival than warfare. Recovery and rebuilding. With the immediate panic subsiding, communities start long-term planning. They plant crops that will take months to yield, build renewable water sources, and create sustainable shelters. Knowledge sharing spreads like wildfire. Skills like farming, first aid, and basic engineering become invaluable, replacing the expertise in finance or abstract law that dominated the old world. Humanity reflects. The shutdown has revealed how dependent civilization was on mobility. People value community, cooperation, and resource management more than any luxury item. They have learned not to take convenience for granted. The return of technology will happen eventually, but the memory of this period will forever shape humanity's use of it. End of 90 days. The final moment arrives in silence. As the final day of the shutdown ends, the engines remain silent. But humanity has endured. Streets are alive with movement, but it is slower and deliberate. People walk together, help each other, and rebuild society step by step. The ultimate bittersweet consequence is revealed. Children play where highways once roared. Rivers sparkle, birds and wildlife thrive. Civilization has not collapsed, it has transformed. The final message is clear. Humanity survived 90 days without transport, not because of machines, but because of resilience, adaptation, and cooperation. The world has slowed, but it has not stopped. And for the first time in centuries, humans remember how to truly move, live, and care for each other. The quiet world is a painful lesson, but also a profound opportunity for a better, more human future.